And we're live. Hello and good morning, everyone. It's Yana Martins here, and our 23rd episode of Reboot Your Tech Mind, a place for creating positive habits. In this episode, Bruce will share a simple 2 minutes reflection practice that can help you to end your workday on the positive note. You know, in our busy time with never-ending traffic transactions, building up to-do list, it's easy to lose sight of how much actually we accomplish during the day, because we always see something else in the horizon that needs to be done again tomorrow. So this end of the day practice will help you to feel more productive and to close out the workday more relaxed and confident. So guys, this is the last episode in this particular series. Please make sure to check out our previous episodes where we covered a range of topics, including time management, goal setting, stress management, productivity hacks, breathing techniques, mindfulness, and so on. And obviously we continue Wednesday afternoon discussions as usual. So anyway, without any further delays, over to Bruce, please.
Thanks, Yana, and hello, welcome everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you today, just to talk about this end-of-day practice that I've used with countless coaching clients and teams of leaders and managers in all sorts of organizations for many, many years, with extraordinary results. And as Yana's mentioned, often our day just, it starts, it goes, it ends, and we kind of stagger out at the end of it, shaking our heads like, what did I actually do today? So I'm not sure if you could, there's the slides. So yeah, thanks, Yana. So I often refer to this practice as an off-ramp for my day. Most of us have some kind of an on-ramp to our day. Before we hit the traffic, with open your emails, listen to the voice messages, the call from the boss, answering all those ticket items that you have to get through. And most of us have ways of prioritizing. We usually sit down at the beginning of the day, what we're going to do first, second, third, etc. How we're going to shape our time. So we tend to have those kind of plans and processes to prioritize, to-do list, etc. at the start of the day. But it's pretty rare, I've discovered, for a lot of people to have something at the end of the day. And yet, in the same way, if you think about, if you do commute, I mean, I'm very lucky. My commute is from my kitchen up the stairs to my home office most days. But if you do commute, and you have a motorway somewhere, there's an on-ramp where you have to build up speed to hit the traffic at the right speed. But when you leave the motorway, you have to de-merge from the traffic and slow down because you're heading into suburbia, you're heading home. Same thing with our workday. It's really, really vital at the end of the day to kind of tie the day up in a neat little ribbon, so you can go home relaxed and at peace with yourself and feeling like you've done something useful. So having a routine or a daily practice is a really powerful tool to help us not only feel like we've done something useful for the day, but to mentally relax and calm ourselves before we go home and engage with our families, take the dog for a walk, whatever it is you do with your evenings. So we can sleep well at night as well, not wake up at 2 a.m. like, oh my goodness, this stuff is still rattling around in my head. And often we get caught up in the intensity of work, which is very impressive, but it's consistency with our daily practices that actually builds momentum and helps us do something really productive for a longer period of time without burning ourselves out. So the key behind this is that practice makes progress. You often hear the saying, practice makes perfect. It doesn't. There is no perfect. All of us are practicing the skills that we're using in the work that we do, particularly in the tech industry, is constantly changing, right? And this pace of change is constantly speeding up. So it's effort that leads and it's success that follows. Any successes we have come from the effort that we're constantly putting in. But one of the things that we forget to do is to measure effort. At the end of the day, sometimes we look at our to-do list and we've ticked off 3 out of 5 things. We go, I got it 60% right. I'll roll those other 2 over to tomorrow. You cross them off and put them on tomorrow's list or move them further down in your calendar. But we forget about those 3 that we did complete. And we also forget all the other stuff that's not in the to-do list. So this very simple practice, it takes you 2 minutes at the end of the day, is a really powerful tool to help you relax, calm down, leave your work behind you, and go home and enjoy your life. We need to celebrate effort, we need to celebrate success, and we need to celebrate progress. All three. We tend to get hung up on the successes, the things that we've completed, but we forget that an enormous amount of our day is just pushing something forward, or actually just having a red hot go at something. So the process is really simple. You just get a, I have one here. I like dumb technology. This has no alerts. It
I
doesn't
do
distract me. It
too.
doesn't do anything. It takes 2 minutes, right? So I'll write down on a piece of paper effort, success, and progress. And just to round out my day, to just put a lid on the day and push it aside, put it back on the shelf, I'll write those 3 words on a piece of paper. And then, and I'm just going to scribble some things, I'll write maybe 2, possibly 3 things where I put in some effort today. I had that difficult call with that client that's very demanding. I had that, I had that conversation with my boss about the project that's behind time. I really thought about that that bug in the code that's been driving us nuts for weeks. I haven't solved it, but I put a lot of effort in. I think I can see a solution, right? I didn't complete it, but I put some effort in. I did something that was hard for me to do, and it pushed my skill set, which means I learned something, right? So I want to note effort. Where was I successful? Yeah, well, I ticked off 3 things on my to-do list. I managed to stop for half an hour and go and have a coffee and a sandwich outdoors and enjoy the sunshine. Where were you successful? Where did you actually achieve something, hit a goal? I got a 5-star rating from that difficult client. So again, note the successes, they are important, but the biggest one for me is where to make progress. And again, 2, maybe 3 things that I did in my day. I'm just going to note, where did I make some progress? Well, one of my colleagues rang me up and talked about that piece of code we've been working on, and we can see that we've actually moved forward. Yeah, we can see where we made the mistake. So we've learned something, right? I made progress. That I engaged with that particular client that has a really challenging issue, and while we didn't solve it, I've deepened the relationship with that client, and they trust me more, right? So where have I made progress in my day in the work that I've been doing? Had the conversation with the team where we really thought about the challenges that we're facing lately and how good it is that everyone keeps showing up, right? Our resilience is getting deeper. So effort, success, progress. I make 2 minutes, very quickly jot that down. It just calms me down. It reminds me that actually I've done a lot of really useful things today, even though I haven't ticked everything off on the to-do list. The work that I've done matters. I've made an impact. I've done something important, and I've used my skill set to the best of my abilities. That makes me feel good, right? Confidence comes from victory, but strength comes from the struggle. And we forget to note the struggles that we've had in the day, and that we actually came through them and are out the other end with something like a smile on our face going, you know what, I had a win. So effort, success, progress, highly recommend that process. Takes 2 minutes. I've used that with lots of coaching clients over the years, and without exception, and I challenge them, I say, do that every day for 2 weeks. Don't spend any more than 2 minutes. And without fail, every one of them will come back and say, you know what, I just feel better about myself. And if nothing else, like, the work is still tough, the clients are still annoying, but I feel better about myself and I'm enjoying my evenings more. So that's the real win, feeling better about ourselves, recognizing that the work we do is meaningful and impactful, and that what I did today has fed that, which makes me feel like, my life's worthwhile and I feel good about myself. If we can go home feeling that, I think that's the real win. So yeah, thanks, Jana. That's my tip for the day. Highly recommend it.
No, it's perfect, and
Yeah.
I can totally relate, especially to that progress bit. So many times you look at your to-do list at work, and the to-do list is the same. You log in the morning, and it's like, I'm still going through these things, like I still didn't tick anything off. But you actually, so if you sit down and think how you actually progress for each of these tasks, and it's kind of like we all know we need to break the task to smaller tasks, but not always we have time to really sit down and write every single thing. Yeah, so you look at your to-do list, you wake up in the morning, it's the same to-do list. I'm like,
Right.
what's been happening for a whole week?
Yeah. I mean, the traffic on the motorway is always there, and we join it and we leave it, but the traffic is going to be there when I come back again tomorrow. So feeling like I've done something positive. And sometimes at the I'll cross out the whole list and I'll write in big letters, ta-da, across the whole list. It just like, it's something silly, but it makes me laugh and I feel like, yes, I did something. My life is worthwhile.
Yeah, and I think it's something we forget, and we build up that anxiety about like we're not moving our to-do list, we're not achieving anything, and that's exactly right. That's exactly what you mentioned. It's about to actually feel better and feel that you actually achieve something and you're progressing, and you don't keep beating yourself saying like we're not doing anything, we didn't progress, like I'm still doing the same things over and over.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, we all want the outcome, but what we need is the journey. And it's, if we can engage with that journey and say, you know what, I've traveled a distance today, I've done something useful, you know, my life is meaningful.
Yeah, no, definitely. So guys, please, try it. Maybe send me a message. How did you go? Because we definitely had quite a few topics, and it's exactly, Bruce, what you mentioned about. We had a lot of topics about how to plan your day, how to organize your to-do list, how to prioritize your time. But that simple 2 minutes at the end of the day can actually make you feel more motivated for the day after, because you feel you're actually progressing and accomplishing something. So make sure to try it. And as I mentioned today, it's actually the last, episode of Reboot Your Tech Mind. So I'm ending this series at the moment, but I'm sure I might, do something similar in the future. So all the focus now on Wednesday night's discussion. So make sure to join me tomorrow for another 5:30 p.m. discussion. And we might see Bruce on one of these discussions as well. So we can make it about time management and the productivity. So thank you, Bruce, for joining me this morning.
Thank you, my absolute pleasure. And I'll send you a little one pager about this process as well. You might be able to share with the viewers as well. But thank you so much for having me. It's been a real joy.
No worries. I'll drop it in the comments, guys, later. And see you tomorrow.